So my healing journey begins when I became a stay-at-home mom for the first time ever. And I remarried, and I had a new baby with a new husband. And for the first time in my life, I had the ability to stay home and be home with the kids. And I have 3 kids. And I took that opportunity because I've always wanted to be able to stay home and be with my kids. Before, I worked so much. I worked 6 days a week, and I was never around for my kids. And I started to, but after about 3 years, something inside of me started to change, and I didn't know what it was. I thought bored, or what do I do with myself? And I've always been a person who made money. I've been working since I was, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. And so my old me thought, let's make money. There's got to be ways I can make money from home, right? So my brain went all the ways how to make money from home, how to, side hustles, blah, blah, blah. And also, in the meantime, I started painting my entire house, trim and all, the whole thing, because there was something stirring inside of me. I thought it was boredom, but it wasn't. It was the beginning of waking up, and so I was brand new to YouTube, right? I don't even think this was on YouTube. Anyway, I found a side hustle gig that was too good to be true. They claimed it as I would get some schooling. I did, paid a lot of money for the schooling. I would get my money back, and it was true. It was true, and it did work. I went through it, and I did it. I made a little bit of money, but I didn't continue it because it was not for me. I hated it. It wasn't for me. It made me feel yucky inside. I had to chase people online, and that was not me at all. And so I had to close out another deal in order to make my money back. And it was very hard for me to do the first one. It was not right for me, and I knew that. And so I bit the bullet and did not make my money back. And that threw our family into debt. And I couldn't handle it. I could not handle all that. And I went into this low. I went into my lowest low, knowing that I hurt my family. I put my family in this awful position, and I couldn't sleep. My face broke out. I worried 24/7, and that is all I could think about, how I hated myself. And I didn't know how to break free of this hatred inside of me. And all I knew how to do was, how do I fix this, right? Okay, I'm back. Sorry, there was delivery. My dog was very unhappy. Anyway, I was at my lowest of lows, and all I could do was fix it, right? How do I fix this? I have to fix this. I have to make money. I have to get the money back. And on to the next side hustle, which was Etsy. I loved it. Loved Etsy 100%, but I went in, and it was making making t-shirts, stuff like that. It was and then selling. So anyway, I went in it 110%. I woke up 2 hours before the kids would wake up. I stopped cleaning my house. I stopped making everybody dinner. I stopped living, because I was so focused on, I have to fix my problem. And that worked out for about 4 months, and then complete stop. They suspended my page. They thought I was like a scammer because I was putting out so much way too fast. And that was a hard pill to swallow. That I cried, I suffered some more. I didn't know how I was going to fix the problem. And what happened was I was very new to YouTube, very new. So anything in my algorithm was side hustles, how to make money from home, right? But there was one video in there that was a priest, a Catholic priest, went to hell, and that grabbed my attention. I've really always been into like mediumship, stuff like that. That's always like grabbed my attention. So that grabbed my attention. Like, what? How does a priest go to hell? And I'm going to give you a little backstory. I went to church growing up. Not a lot, just a little bit. We would go in like spurts, and Christian. So, you know, there's a big man upstairs and the devil is in hell, and, you know, be a good person or you'll go to hell. And, you know, you'll get judged the day you die type of beliefs. Was not really heavy into it, but it was always been something in the back of my mind, right? So that grabbed my attention. Anyway, I opened it up and that sent me down the rabbit hole. And I can't ever say the word, but spirituality was right in front of me. And religion didn't make sense to me, because how does God put us in this world to be judged and then deemed to hell if, you know, you steal? You know, so we go to hell for eternity. So anyway, once I started going down the rabbit hole and I started knowing the truth about energy, and we live many lives before we come here. We come here on earth for human experience, to evolve, It was like an explosion inside of me. It was just a knowing that I know religion is a hunk of junk, and I'm not gonna go down that road here in this channel. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what this is about. But it was just a knowing, a complete awakening inside of me. Now, I never heard the words awakening. I never knew anything about that, but I started sending these videos to my mom. And my mom was like, oh my God, you're waking up. You're going through a spiritual awakening. And I'm like, what in the hell is that? I've never heard of that in my life. And that led me to a tarot reading. And I've always thought they were very cool, very interested, but Mom always told me many years ago, never do any of that, never do the Ouija board, never do any of that sort of stuff, because it's, you know, the devil, it's demons, you know, will attach to your, you know, whatever at the time she told me. But so anyway, come to find out, those are just tools used in you know, that links us to the other realms. And I was in such a low place that was my only feeling of getting some sort of answer, or how do I get out of where I am. And so I did a tarot reading, and she read my energy, and she says, to be completely honest, this is the reading, it was a very tough love reading, and she just said that I was so blocked that, and mind you, at the time that I listened to this reading, it made no sense to me. I didn't know how to perceive it, because I was so new to this and so closed off, that all I heard was, you are doomed and you have a lot of work to do. And I had no idea what shadow work was. I never heard of that before. So that's all I knew I had to do was shadow work. But how do I do shadow work? So I thought I could do this, right? And I just would try to live my life. And in those times where something would bother me or whatever, I would try to think, okay, how do I do this shadow work? Why is this bothering me? This and that. And I don't know what it was, but I thought, I kept working at that. But it was a few days later, I found myself in the morning. I woke up, I grabbed my phone, and I Googled a therapist because I didn't know how to do this. But all I knew was I needed to fix how I felt inside. And I've done therapy a couple of times in the past when I went through a divorce. And my whole mindset on therapy then at that time was fix me, I think, because people said that I should probably have some therapy going through a divorce. And while it didn't work, and I went to it for a very short time because I wasn't ready for it. And you can't go into therapy not ready for it. This time I was ready for it. Now I chose a, what's the word I'm looking for? I chose a, oh my goodness, why can't I think of the word? A holistic. I chose a holistic therapist who was kind of, I wanted somebody who was where I'm at. And that's what I'm leaning towards, what I was learning and getting myself into. Without choice, without choice. There was no choice to this. This is just something that grabbed me, and it was just a knowing inside. Oh, I got to tell you one other thing too. But anyway, so I found myself Googling a therapist. She got back to me that evening and said, yes, I have room for you. We're setting up an appointment. And she sent me the paperwork. Now I'm filling out this paperwork, right? And one of the questions was, what do you do for self-love? I had no idea what self-love was. I don't know. What was that? Like, go get a massage? I didn't know how to love myself. Oh my God. I have been a people pleaser my entire life. I knew how to please others because if they were happy, then the world around me was going to be okay. I knew how to sense chaos before it happened. So I pleased everybody but myself. I thought it was selfish because if I'm doing something good for me, they're not getting something good. That's not fair. Let me tell you who I am now. I'm probably the most selfish person. Anyway, when I learned about energy and who we are energy, and we are here to have a human experience, blah, 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 I called up my girlfriend, somebody who I was very close to all my life. I called her up because all my kid life, I was so afraid she was gonna go to hell, because she would always tell me, like, I don't believe in God. I don't believe, like, there's no heaven, there's no hell type of thing. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's gonna go to hell. And so I called her up right away and I was like, how did you know? How did you know there was not this heaven and hell and we're gonna get judged when we die? And she said, because she's like, I was made to go to church, like with her uncle or something. And she just knew right then and there, like, this can't be it. Like, I just can't go for this because it just doesn't sit right. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's so freaking brilliant. But anyway, so I got this therapist now, right? And the paperwork was self-love. That was very interesting to me. So anyway, I start therapy and I go in full force because I'm not feeling good. I don't like who I am, and that needed to get out of me. Now, I got to start from the beginning. When I was younger, I didn't know how to share my feelings. I didn't know how to have my feelings. And I felt like if I ever had feelings or let out my true feelings, somehow it would come back at me and get me in trouble. Now, I was a kid who got into a lot of trouble. And not trouble. I mean, like, because I think some of my family lived in fear, so I was better off being in trouble so that I wouldn't get into big trouble. So I was constantly grounded, constantly had to be home. So I feel like I never voiced out my true feelings because I didn't want that to come back at me and get more trouble. So I learned how to close up, and I would stuff everything. I would stuff every emotion, every feeling, everything. And it would only last for so long that I would blow up. I knew that at times where I shouldn't have, the bad times where it would come out so wrong. But now as I'm older, I never knew that every emotion, feeling that we had, I never knew that putting it away, stuffing it away, it sat in our body. I had no idea. I just thought if we don't deal with it, it just goes away, right? No, wrong. That's why I felt the way that I felt. Everything, I think, started boiling inside of me and needed to be released. And I started waking up to myself. And how I explained how I felt was I was going through life like this, completely blind, just literally surviving, literally going to work, coming home, taking care of my kids, going to work, come home, just doing it all. And when I woke up, had a spiritual awakening, as my mom would say, I completely saw everything. My consciousness woke up. I could see. Everything made sense to me. Everything. It was such an eye-opener. Anyway, I thought I'd start therapy, and it was the best thing I could have done for myself. The best decision I have ever made for myself. And I have soared. I have gone in and done the work. I spoke of everything I could ever think of in my life and dug at it, and I have done some tremendous healing. And that's where it all begins. And so from here on out, I want to share with you just clips of my life, stuff that I go through, stuff that I've learned along my path, to show you how I've become this brand new person, the way that I look at things, the way I look at people in my life. I have no shame and no blame to anyone in my life, anyone, family, coworkers, exes, children. I have no shame, no blame. I know that we are in this for an experience. I know that every single person in my life has played a part for me to learn as well as them. Once you understand that, once you learn that, life becomes so easy. It becomes so easy. I've waken up to the world. I've waken up to how all of this works. My life is full of joy. My life is, I am so grateful. I am so grateful for who I am, every experience I have ever had, every bit of shame that I carried. I have taken that shame and I've turned it into complete gratefulness. If that's a word, gratefulness. Of everything that I've went through, every decision and choice that I've made in my life. I know it was meant for me. I know it was my blueprint. I know that it has made me the person I am today. And I'm so grateful for who I am today. And I'm so grateful that my kids are still young. My oldest is 14. My youngest is 4. And I get to share everything that I've learned with them and plant the seeds for them, for their futures to be joyful. And that's where I am. If any of this resonates with anybody, please follow, please share, please please like. And I'm going to just grab my phone when I have these experiences that I go through, things that I've learned, etc., like I said. And it's going to be messy. It's going to be me in my life, no makeup, you know, just raw and unfiltered and my complete truth. And because let me tell you, I have been going through my life being so completely honest, and I can't even tell you what it does for other people when you are so completely honest. And the decisions and choices that we make in life when you're honest and you feel your truth, it comes back in unexpected ways. It lets people be open to their vulnerability and lets them speak their truth. I've lived a life with a lot of fake. I've lived a life, my family was the family that we didn't speak our truths. We tried to keep that calm, even though we knew, you know, we weren't that family that shared our truth. And it changes today, and I'm changing that for my family. So if I can help you, I would love for a community to start to, I'm going to ask you how I'm doing, or what choices you would have made, what I did, and how what you did, and we could communicate back and forth and just learn from everybody's experiences and the turnouts. And I just think that would be really cool. Like I said, I just feel called to get this out of me, completely get this out of me. And because it's what the world needs, healing. Yeah. So thank you. See you in the next video.